Hello, everybody, and welcome to my channel. Today, I want to talk about a little topic called the self esteem factor. And it's brewing, it's all over social media. So many things have happened, so many things have been happening all over the internet when it comes to self esteem. And that's a silent term that not many people want to address, want to acknowledge. But many of the issues that are taking place all over is based on self esteem, whether it being high or being low. And am I the one to speak on it? Hell yeah, I'm the one to speak on self esteem because you know me. I I'm not afraid to touch on any topic for that matter, given the fact that I am aware of what I speak of. And if I am not, then I will put it to the public that I'm not. And I need assistance from people who are more researched than I am. And I am a person who is strong willed, strong mind, and I am emotional, and I proudly am emotional, and I will give you a very strong answer because that's who I am, that's my personality, that's what I represent. And I believe that we are human beings, and human beings are what? Naturally emotional people. So the nuances of people being too emotional and women are too emotional, that's a debunked theory many years ago. I'm not sure why people, especially in third world countries, are still applying such theorem to their argument when speaking, because so many things are emotion and you are within your right to be emotional over a topic. I think that people borderline emotion with being toxic and not having the ability to tell the difference, and that's where the discrepancy falls. However, there is a program that is on television, and it's the Love Island thing, and it's where you are selected, you are deselected, you are chosen, you are rejected, you try to make chemistry with someone, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, and if it works, it works. And they get these really attractive people, physically attractive people, and they put them in the mix, and they pick, choose, and refuse who they want, who they like, who they really want to be with. And usually the option is up to the guys in the end to select who they want to be with. But there is something particular about that particular show that not many persons speak on, and if they do, they brush it over. And I believe that as a Jamaican and a vlogger, I have a responsibility and a duty to highlight things that are out there that many persons um, are overlooking. And it's creating an impact on many persons, including young girls out there who might be watching. Not everybody's underage, not because I mentioned young girl. 18-year-old is a girl, even though it's an adult, 20-year-old just the same. And I strongly believe that it is having an impact on the society, and people need to speak on the matter and expound on it. And there needs to be a what? Conversation. Now, what I realize that's happening in this particular show, or on this show, is there are lots of dark skinned women who will come in. They're very beautiful, they're very gorgeous. However, they are being played with, or they're being manipulated, and they come out being virtuous, they come out being kind, responsive, you understand, rather than reactive. They come out speaking their truth, and oftentimes it's almost like they're being labeled negatively once they open their mouth and speak on that which offends them. And it seems as if they're being silenced, right? Not only that, the guys will come on the show and they will play around with these girls. They'll pretend as if they like them, and they care about them, and they're being nice, they're being cordial, they're being romantic also, and stuff. But when you check it out in the end, they're always rejected. They're always rejecting the girls who happen to be very dark skinned on the show for a girl that is way lighter or non-black. More than likely, it's a non-black. And I can't say it's white because not all the time it's actually a white woman. It can be a mixed woman, a Latina, or, one of those type of females who have many different blood inside them. And so they're usually rejected, plain and simple, rejected for these women. And many persons have been wondering what's happening. Why are they constantly rejecting these girls after they portray that they're virtuous, that they're kind, that they're wholesome? These girls are going above and beyond, especially the dark skinned girls. They're going above and beyond to show that there's more to a dark skinned woman than just looking nice, having a gorgeous sex appeal, and all of these type of things. A lot of times they're very intelligent and stuff like that, and well educated. However, in the end, the guys do not care. They don't want them. They're making it obvious that they're rejecting them, and they're proudly rejecting these girls for non-black women. And so, with that being said, we're wondering what's up, right? Is it by producers intention to put these women out there? And I'm starting to think that it actually is. The producers are purposely getting these women on the show, putting them in the mix, have them as tokenism, which is a subpart of racism. Tokenism, meaning that here lies a pretty black girl and we're just going to put her in just to show you that we're not going to reject black women, and it's not a racist show, and to gain more traction and more viewers, especially from the black audience and stuff like that. So they're going to put a dark-skinned woman who are gorgeous in the mix. However, these guys are not going to pick them, but they can play around them with them. They can have fun with them. They can make them feel important to a point. But in the end, you are not going to select these type of women. And so they will get these type of guys and they'll put them on the show. Of course, they are racist. Of course, they're colorist. Whether they're black or white, I do not care. I'm not subtracting. They are in fact racist. And these are the guys that they put on the show. You see, when you're a black man and you're picking women based on their skin color, being lighter or closer to white, you have that slave master racism inside you. And that makes you, in fact, racist. And this is what a lot of these guys are doing. They're purposely and willfully going on the show, having their preference of skin color and hair, because that's how a lot of black men are moved by skin color and hair. Not that they don't acknowledge the beauty in a dark-skinned woman. However, they are more than likely going to choose a woman based on her hair and her skin tone. And it often depicts the imagery of the Eurocentric features and that of the what? The slave master, the white man. And so these guys are purposely and willfully going on the show, toying around with these girls who happen to be dark skinned, catering to tokenism and all of these type of things. And then in the end, they're setting them up to be rejected. And we're seeing this time and time again. And of course, Olandria was on the show. She got rejected in the end, and she has been doing very well. She has her modeling that she's going on. She's getting speech. She's been booked to speak at events, and she was at, I think it's a university, and she was actually tearing up, crying when she was speaking about, being as a black woman and being rejected and how you are treated. You cannot ignore that. And so she became very vulnerable, and she was speaking and being emotional at the time at the university and letting people know that this is what black women are faced with. In particular, dark-skinned black women, they are being faced and met with rejection at all times. And it's not only by persons of different ethnic group, meaning that they're white or Asian or whatever, but also by their own group of people who happen to be dark-skinned, who happen to be men. And it is happening, and it is a conversation. Now, hear me out. I am a cis devil advocate, and I tend to look at things from a different angle, perspective, or hand you something hidden in plain sight. Now, as a black woman, you don't ever go on any show or any remember, I have a speech problem, guys, forgive me. You don't go on any show or any program that you will be measured against women of other ethnic group solely based on your skin color. You're simply not going to win. You cannot pretend as if the world is racist and then you cannot pretend, that the world is not racist and somehow they're going to look beyond skin color. They're fooling you, they're tricking you, and you're buying into the trickery. The world is racist and people are going to look at you through racist eyes. Whether they were slave masters' children or the slave master or the slave children, they're going to look at you through that angle, whether they're the children of slave master or they are children of enslaved people. That's the eye that they're going to use to look at you, solely based on your skin color, and they're going to reduce you. So at all times, once you're being measured against women of other ethnic group, you're more than likely not going to come out the victor. And so you don't need to go on the show where you are constantly being compared, or you are competing for something or someone against women of other ethnic group. It's not that you're inferior or you are less than. You are just as gorgeous, even if not more gorgeous than a lot of these women who are on this show. However, they're simply not going to select you because to them, you are not enough. You are not as beautiful as them. You are not about to change that reality. You are not about to change that reality. If people spent centuries trying to prove that you are less than solely based on your skin color, it's going to take centuries for them to realize that you are actually just as equal, much less superior to them. So we are in the making. We are in the making. We aren't yet there. And because we aren't yet there and we're still speaking and using our voices, you need not to go on these shows. I'm sorry, you don't need to go. If you are not the preference or you're not in the position of power where you can select, deselect, accept, and reject, do not go into this situation, because they're not going to look at you as equally measured. They're going to look at you as the token. You're just there for face value to prove that they're actually not racist and to prove that, you are part of it and to gain more traction from their audience. I'm sorry. But in the end, they're not going to select you. And that's just the harsh reality. They are not going to select you. They are going to choose someone else. It is centered that way. Racism is an institution. And I keep saying that. Now, when it comes to the self-esteem of Black women, you have to put yourself in a position, like I said, where you are the preferred or you are the choice. You don't put yourself in a position where you can be rejected by the choice and decisions of others. You don't ever do that. I care zero. Have a dark skin Miss World or have a black Miss World. Because people tend to believe that, okay, whether you're light skin, whether you're dark skin, you're a Black woman, just the same. No, that's not true. That is not true. The one drop rule does not apply everywhere in the world. One drop rule is a Jim Crow rule from racism, right? So if such is the case and you're going to apply it, then you should apply sitting at the bus back just the same, because you are hopping in and out of Jim Crow when it's convenient. A one drop rule does not apply. It is not true. You have to accept that biracial octoroons, quadroons do exist. And these people, the same way how their skin color protrude differently and they look differently, they more than likely think differently. We're in a world that is racist, so they're not going to think according to you or how you expect. Come on, they're going to accept the harsh reality just the same. So with that being said, understanding that you need to raise your self-esteem and put yourself in a place where you are the preferred choice, you don't go into this competition with these women. Because whoever it is that's in charge, they're not going to make you come out on top. Speaking of coming out on top, remember America's Next Top Model, who was the host? I think Tyra Banks was the executive producer, something like that for the show. Or was it Ken Mock? I don't quite remember. But I remember Tyra Banks being the host and it was her show spirited by her. And Tyra Banks is what? A Black woman, right? How many Black women have won America's Next Top Model versus white women? You see what I'm saying? You don't win. You do not win. So I know a lot of Black girls over the years were motivated to go on the show because it's Tyra and they believe that, okay, they stand a great chance of winning. But when the harsh reality sets in, these Black girls were never really given the choice. They were never the option. Besides Danielle, who else was there? Saisha, yes, a little bit of on the lighter skin tone. There's Eva. Eva is biracial, actually. A little bit on a darker tone, but she was biracial. And she is what? A tokenism, right? She's a token. And so she had more success because the black community accepted Eva being the token. And Eva is in fact beautiful, gorgeous. That I will never take from her. She is gorgeous. But at the same time, I'm speaking on the setbacks that a lot of women who happen to be black that went on the show purposefully because they saw Tyra on it, and Tyra had her success in modeling. And she had this show that speaks on self-esteem so much, especially when she had her talk show. So they strongly believe that America's Next Top Model would have given them a platform to shine based on the fact that they're dark skinned, based on the fact that they have goals, and they are being measured also to white women. They believe that they would stand out. Wrong, that was not the case. That was not the case. And then they got a lot of these men on the show also who helped to be a part of the judge, hopping in and out. And these guys were racist. A lot of them were racist. They did not like black women. They put a lot of pressure on black women. They did not have a problem to speak on black women being problematic on the show. When you know that they're set with a lot of setbacks also, or they're faced with a lot of setbacks, but it was okay for you to highlight that on the show to further perpetuate the negative stereotype of black women being difficult. And so you try to silence them. A lot of these guys on the show who are judges try to silence the black women when they're on it. So that's what I'm saying. In order to build your self-esteem, you have to be separated. Everything cannot be integration. It's simply not true. It's simply not true, and it won't work. For you to stand out, for you to gain some momentum, for you to have high self-esteem, number one, you have to face the world that is out there. And how you face the world is looking at it for what it actually is and for what you are being met with. And when you see that you're being met with someone, what you need to do is to join forces with people who actually look like you and also like-minded, because not every skin folk is a kinfolk. So you have to be very careful also. But then you want to put yourself in a position where you are like-minded with people who actually look like you, and you're in a position where you are the preferred choice. That's just what it is. I'm sorry, not sorry. And I don't think I should apologize for situations like this in denying the obvious that the world is in fact racist. And they have these little shows that they put on and make it seem as if that it's equality and all of these type of things when it's actually not. It's a facade, it's a lie, it's a farce. It's simply not true. And you're being forced to believe the garbage at all time. And that's the reason Olandre, even when leaving the show, she could be talking and giving speech at a university and actually tearing up because she's faced with a harsh reality. She believed going on the show, she would actually meet a guy that's really great. I remember at one point there was this dating show, and there was this guy on it. He's very handsome, right? And he had a preference. His preference were for what? Non-black women. But here lies a black girl that was on the show, and she liked him. They went out, they were talking and stuff like that. He was a single father. Listen to me. He was a single father. But it just so happened that all of these non-black girls were not necessarily interested in playing a stepmother role to his child, because they were questioning him about the mother of his child and what really happened and stuff like that. And he didn't really like it. However, when he met with the black girl, she was there and she was very comforting, I guess, very understanding, very sympathetic towards his situation. And I guess she gave some motherly instinct that popped out, and he liked that. And that was his sole reason for choosing her. That was his sole reason for choosing her, because he wanted somebody to play a motherly role in his daughter's life. And that's his reason for choosing the black dark-skinned girl on the show versus the non-black women who were on the show that were actually his preference. So you see what I'm talking about? You have to be very careful. You don't go on the show, because a lot of these are spearheaded by producers with their agenda, and they're being paid at all times, most times, to keep the negative stereotype of black women going and going and going and going, where they're always met with rejection, that they're only good for a fun time, they're only good, and it matters not the virtue that they portray. It doesn't matter if they're kind, it doesn't matter if they're decent, if they're respectful, if they have self-respect, it doesn't matter also if they're even educated. It doesn't matter if they portray motherly instinct. It doesn't matter if they're even domesticated. It doesn't matter. Or if they're domestic, it doesn't matter. You will be faced with rejection. So you don't want to put yourself in a position where you are competing with non-Black women for a cause, and it has absolutely everything to do with your physical features. You are not going to win. Let it be about your intellect. Let it be about your innovativeness. Let it be about your creativity or your invention an invention, but let it not be about physical appearance, because you can be as gorgeous as ever, as sexy as ever. You're simply not going to win. And you find a lot of these women who are doing all these type of surgeries because they want to have the body of a Black woman. They want to have that high sex appeal. But at the same time, a lot of them are very racist towards Black women. And that's on the women part who are non-Black. And they get away with it because what? The Black men actually support them or putting them on pedestal, and they know how these Black men feel about them versus how they feel about Black women. And because they believe that they can be outright disrespectful at all times and even racist towards Black women and get away with it because it's always been supported by a brother. A brother is always there supporting them because they're moved by what? Hair and skin color. So if you are aware of that, why are you denying the obvious as a Black woman? Why are you putting yourself in a position where you will be rejected for these women? Why are you doing it? At some point in time, you have to smell the coffee. At some point in time, you have to realize, and this speaks to your self-esteem. So if you have a naturally low self-esteem, I'm kind of sorry I'm not able to help you, but if you aren't, then I can give you an advice. Don't ever put yourself in that position. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't be friends with women who happen to be non-Black. I'm not saying that you should end your friendship, but you have to know where you stand. You cannot deny the obvious because they certainly aren't. They think of themselves as superior to you. They think of themselves as better than you. That's how they move. They think of themselves as superior to you solely based on what? Their skin color. They see themselves as better than you solely based on their skin color. So what say you? What are you going to do about it? Are you going to pretend as if they don't? And it's just about equality? No, you can't. And you'll be a fool to actually think that. The only time they think of equality is when they're decked with the same men being treated the same. Then you will hear them coming out of the woodwork. Why can't we as women? That's the time they try to draw for women unification, female empowerment. That's the time they pull for it. But when they are being the preferred choice, or when they are being the choice that is accepted versus you being rejected, they are going to gloat in it. They will gloat in it. And they will make it known that you are the reject. So if you are a Black woman and you're seeking to have higher self-esteem, don't ever put yourself in a position where you are measured by women like yourself. Women who actually look like you. Actually look like you. Women who actually look like you and are going somewhere. Be around brothers who actually cater for women like you. And you can't come and say that their mother is this, their mother is. A lot of them do not even like their own mother. They do not like their mother. They don't want women who look like their mother. They are not attracted to that. They are not attracted to that. No, I'm not saying that a person is not free to have a preference or free to have a choice, but when it's solely based on the skin color and the hair of someone who looks like the slave master, then you are catering to racism. You are in fact a racist individual. You are in fact a racist individual. See, slavery affected everybody, not just the victims of it, but also other persons out there who had nothing to do with it, because they move by what the media had portrayed of the Black person, and so they move with a lot of ignorance. And so it plays around all the time, all day, every day. And like I said, racism is a what? Institution. There are degrees in it. What's in that you people don't get? All these shows that you see on TV have a touch of racism in it. They have to. The same way how you can see that they're pushing gay agenda, gay this, the gay that, it's the same thing. Nothing has changed. If you notice, most TV shows out there replace black women with non-black women, given the same character. However, the skin color changes over time. So a lot of them are out of a job. Or if these black women are getting roles, they're getting stereotype role. If you don't believe, check Octavia Spencer movies. Check Viola Davis movie. They are stereotype roles that they are playing all the time in their movies. So that's what I'm saying. If you don't want to be rejected or a part of the rejection pack, you have to put yourself in position where you stand out. Now it's saying that black women in the United States are more educated because they go to school, they get an education, they're more educated by far than every other group out there. What difference is it making? You're not being picked based on your education. You're not being loved based on your education. What difference is it making? You're not being honored based on your education. Is it making any difference? You're still ended up turning up a single mom. You're still turning up a reject. You understand what I'm trying to say? So you're not actually winning. So what you have to do is just separate yourself and create an avenue of peace where you are loved, where you're cherished, where you're respected by each other. I think it's Princella Queenmaker. I know a lot of you guys don't necessarily like her because she spoke on black men. She's calling out black women also. You have to come together. You have to come together. You have to, in order to push your self-esteem, you have to work together. If you aren't interested in working together, then you're going to deal with the problem for the next 100 years to come. And that's just it. You have to work together. You have to push each other up and not down. You have to leave each other's personal life alone. Stop trying to go into the lives and relationship of each other. You have to learn to respect each other. You have to learn to love each other. You have to learn to take care of each other. You have to. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to change your sexuality and become a lesbian. That's not what I'm pushing. But I'm just saying that if you understand the plight of each other, why not take care of each other? You see the wave and movement through education and all of that. And it's great. You guys are becoming great entrepreneurs. You're getting good, better paying job and all these type of things. So you have to move away from all these stereotypes, all of them, and just start working together and build each other. So you become what? In a position of power where you can separate yourself from among them. Build your own empire. You're just going to have to do that. That's how the self-esteem is going to grow. Let them battle out picking among whoever and the non-blacks. Let them battle that out. You will be above that mess. You will be above that quagmire, that melee, that sort of hot, disgusting, puny, potent, derelict mess. You will be above it. You understand? So if we're talking about self-esteem, that's one way. You understand me? Separating yourself from the mess. Don't go there. Do not attempt to go on these shows. And maybe they're paying you and maybe you want the money and all of that. But is it really worth it? Because you're turning up crying anyway. Your emotions are deeply affected. So what say you? What does it? What's there to gain in it? The money's going to finish and you're going to be left with a broken heart. You're feeling hurt. You're feeling distraught. Your image as a black woman is still ruined. And you're coming out. Orlandra is gorgeous. Like, look at Orlandra. This girl is very sexy. She's very pretty. She's gorgeous. But what difference does it make? So you don't put yourself in that position because it's subtracting from you. It is subtracting from you. Don't ever put yourself in that position. Let it be a learning lesson. Can we start out with this being the last dark-skinned girl to ever go on the show? Let others do it. You don't. Just avoid that show totally. Stop trying to be a part of the in crowd. Be your own individual. Create your own crowd. You can do it. You just need a little bit of sprinkling, a little bit of potion of teamwork, a little bit of potion of high self-esteem working together, and you will get there. And you will get there. Trust me. It's not as difficult as you really think it is, but food for thought. And I hope that there are lots of young girls out there that will listen. Or if you guys are there, are watching my channel, you can pass this on to young girls out there and let them know how they can stand out. You understand? And do your own thing. Do your own thing. Do your own thing and keep it cute, keep it sexy, keep it appealing, keep it intelligent, keep it that way, keep that atmosphere that way. Be your own body and be proud of it. Don't be a tacky body. Don't be a reckless body. You don't see Nicki Minaj doing those. She got herself married and child and all of these type of things, a career. You be your own body. You do that. Do it that way. Don't do it in the hot mess way. Multiple baby daddies, competing with other women, cussing out on the internet, acting unladylike, unsexy, all of that loud, vulgar. Leave that. Just let it be done and over with at some point. Let it be done and over with. Get your nails done and relax. Go to a spa. Relax. Be your sexy. Be your sexy. You understand? Just do that. Just do that. It will work. It will work for you. Create your own phenom. It will work. That's all I have to say. Thank you for your time. Enjoy your day. God bless you. Bye bye.